This time in the NFC, there's a lot of speculation around what the future for the New York Giants would hold. What is the latest there in terms of their front office and coaching staff?
So the Giants are going to retain head coach Brian Daboll and general manager Joe Schoen. That coming from owner John Mara just a moment ago. Those two are safe. There was some belief that there were going to be some conversations that took place in the coming days. Clearly, Mara, who has not wanted to make a change at either position. He said so back in October. He's been quiet since then, but sources had told me he didn't want to make a change, wanted to stick with this brain trust and sort of see it through so he didn't have to go through another search, and so now he is not. When you look at Brian Daboll, there are very few coaches who are out there, either active or who will be a head coach this upcoming cycle, who I think reputation-wise you could say, oh, he can help develop a good young quarterback. Brian Daboll, the coach of the year just a couple years ago, the work he did in Buffalo with Josh Allen, that has proven to be obviously some down years for the New York Giants. A terrible season for them. There's no doubt at all about it. But John Mara has worked with Joe Schoen the last couple of years, has been there as a present owner day to day, and so he understands almost every single decision that has been made. And I know that the HBO Hard Knocks series during the offseason and during free agency looked really bad. And it looked so bad that I'm not sure any team is ultimately going to sign up for it this upcoming year. But it, as we see, has not impacted the job status of head coach Brian Daboll or general manager Joe Schoen. Both of them will be back for the Giants in 2025.
I'm curious, Jonathan, if, obviously they need a new quarterback, as you mentioned there. They'll probably look towards that in the draft. Did they just not want to do new GM, new head coach, and a new QB all in 1 year?
So John Mara, he's been through this a couple of times already, especially at head coach when you go back to hiring and firing Pat Shurmur and hiring and firing Joe Judge. And he just didn't want to have to do this cycle again. He gave these contracts out to both men, sort of a package deal, but not really. They both came from Buffalo, but they would be sort of evaluated on their own individual merits. And he wanted them to be able to see it through. We know that the Giants last year put their eggs into the Daniel Jones basket. They had paid him a 4-year contract averaging $40 million, but they could always get out after 2 seasons. We know that they, of course, did that. And so now they're going to have to find their next quarterback. It could be interesting, could be difficult in the draft because the Giants right now picking number 3 overall in that draft. Well, when you look up above them, you have the Titans at number 1, certainly will be in the quarterback conversation. Then you have the Cleveland Browns at number 2, that though they did restructure Deshaun Watson's contract, that doesn't mean by any stretch that he will be the week 1 starter or the quarterback of the future for the Browns. So if the Giants desire to get a Cam Ward or a Shedeur Sanders, it's possible they'll have to do some draft manipulation to move up in April to get the guy that Brian Daboll can ultimately coach to hopefully be the quarterback of the future.
And before we let you go, obviously there are now 5 openings in the NFL in terms of new head coaches. Anything we should be on the lookout for as the morning and afternoon progress today?
So we'll keep an eye out on the Dallas Cowboys as well as the Las Vegas Raiders. When you talk about the Cowboys, this is a team Mike McCarthy and Jerry Jones have both spoken recently that knows substantial contract talks have taken place. He's at the end of his contract. It expires next week, and so he can still negotiate, Mike McCarthy that is, with Jerry Jones and ultimately return to the Dallas Cowboys if both sides wish. He also can, of course, interview with other teams beginning next week. And the Las Vegas Raiders, we heard a no comment from Antonio Pierce yesterday when he was asked about his thoughts on his job status, and so still waiting to hear from owner Mark Davis about the future and direction of the Vegas Raiders.
All right, Jonathan Jones, our lead NFL insider, with the latest on the latest NFL coaching firings across the league. We may see a few more today. Thank you so much. We'll see you again at the top of the hour today at 9 a.m. Of course, here is the list of those openings. There are 5 in total now. The Jets, Saints, Bears, and Patriots all now have a head start on looking for a new coach heading into 2025.